Hi, it's Phil Anderson, General Manager, Policy, Advocacy and Standards at the FAAA. As the year has progressed, the Shield and First Guardian collapses have grown in terms of scale, public awareness and consequences. This has been very disturbing as we've observed the impact that it has had on so many Australians, with many potentially losing their life savings. As the media focus has grown, regrettably the impact on the reputation of the financial advice profession has also increased. This was on display at the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Corporations and Financial Services hearing on Thursday, 18 September 2025, as part of the oversight of ASIC, where Shield and First Guardian were one of the most important issues. The collapse of these two MISs and the broader consequences has placed a spotlight on how it was even possible for this to happen. The responsibility for this is spread across many sectors and different firms. At the PJC hearing, members of that committee and the leadership from ASIC all recognised that the MISs, research house, super funds, lead generators, advice licensees, advisors and auditors all played a role. It is important that the breadth of the responsibility is recognised. It is also essential that accountability for the remediation of clients is also broadly spread. Last week we saw the very significant news that Macquarie would remediate all their clients who had invested in the Shield Master Fund through their platform. That was warmly welcomed and will go a long way to resolving the many issues that those clients have faced. Another pathway that ASIC is taking to ensure that those responsible, including the super funds who placed these products on their investment menus, are held accountable is the court action against equity trustees. Beyond Macquarie and equity trustees, there are other super funds involved. We'll need to wait to see what further action ASIC takes and how this plays out. Unfortunately, it is likely that some of the impacted clients are going to need to be patient. A complaint to AFCA is another pathway for impacted clients to seek compensation. Access to AFCA is an important consumer protection which we must support. It is relatively easy to make a complaint against a financial advisor. It is much more complicated to make a complaint against a super fund, as the AFCA rules exclude complaints relating to the management of a fund or scheme as a whole. We're aware of complaints against super funds relating to Shield and First Guardian that have already been rejected on these grounds. This is not fair and we'll be calling for this to be changed. In the absence of a negotiated outcome or a court-driven outcome, and in the context of the inability for clients to make complaints about super funds for the inclusion of these MISs on their investment menus, the cost of these failures is likely to land with the CSLR. This is not a good outcome for clients, as any compensation will be limited to a cap of $150,000 when they may have lost a lot more. It will also be a poor outcome for the financial advice profession, as inevitably we will be expected to fund this cost through the CSLR. Whilst we wait for the Minister to make a decision on the allocation of the CSLR special levy for the 25-26 year, there is much more that we're advocating for to ensure that the CSLR is fair and sustainable into the long term. We will continue to argue for a public inquiry into these large failures, including with respect to the weaknesses in the regulatory and complaint regimes, to ensure that appropriate consumer protections are in place and to provide some needed certainty on the future cost of the CSLR for the advice profession. We will keep you updated as we continue this campaign. Thank you.